That's about the time my rooster cries.
That's about the time we eat chicken pies.
That's right.
I
Someone's
don't want
getting
to be made
scared.
into a pie.
Make into a pie. Man,
Okie dokie. Walk, walk, walk.
hello.
I'm Hannah.
I'm your host, number 2.
I didn't say I was your host. I'm just Hannah.
I did. I said I'm your host.
We're your hosts.
We're your hosts today.
Hannah.
And host number 2.
He doesn't want a name, apparently.
It could be anything.
Call him what you want.
Call me what you want.
Call me what you need.
Yeah. Today we're talking about addiction. Addiction. A dipshit.
Egyptian, huh?
We're talking about adductions and abductions and inductions and
Abductions?
like hip abductions.
I was thinking like UFO abductions.
Oh, alien abductions?
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a Danny Phantom shirt, so it's a pretty close realm.
He's a ghost.
Ghosts and aliens, you know, are they in the same category or not?
No. Oh, so we did watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it's been a week, so I don't really remember much about it. So why don't you start off?
Well, you never forget your towel because it could be used for many different purposes.
Yeah.
As Mos Def has clearly shown.
I finally got that line. I understand why that's such an important part of the movie now.
Yeah.
You never know when
And
something as...
Don't panic.
Well,
don't panic. No matter what, don't panic. There's no reason to ever panic about anything.
That's something I'm learning too in life, is that when you panic or like allow yourself to get anxious about something, it only makes it worse. So like the best thing to do is when you're feeling that way is to take a moment to like stop and calm yourself down.
Mm-hmm.
Spilled on myself.
Spilled on myself.
It's not hot. It's good.
Yeah. To really take to step back and to take a moment and not let yourself panic or freak out about anything or just overthink. I'm a big overthinker
Easier
sometimes.
said than done, for sure.
Absolutely. Easier said than done.
But
it takes a lifetime.
I think that's like the number one thing I've been trying to do this summer was like find ways to calm myself without using, which just is going back to the addiction, without using weed. Because I was realizing that like I was using weed as emotional regulation, which isn't healthy. You know, I should be able to do that on my own without a substance. And so just learning like what things really trigger me, that's been helpful in my like quitting journey this week. I feel like I've only had a few moments where I felt really out of control. And in those moments, a lot of times I'd like crave weed, and then I would stop and just kind of like breathe and take a moment, come outside, do a little yoga, stretch a little bit, spend some time with the cats, like enjoy the beauty outside. And all it took was like 5-10 minutes of being outside to like feel calm enough to like be like, oh, okay, I didn't need that, you know? Just like coming back to that mindfulness. What about you?
I don't have as strong of an addiction to it.
I mean, nicotine, when you quit nicotine.
Oh, nicotine,
what
yeah.
kept you,
I chewed for 6 years. Most of that was due to the Forest Service, funny enough. So, thank you, government. But, yeah, it was super difficult. I had a lot of issues with, like, circulation. Nicotine very much is a blood thinner, and that's not spoken about. So in case anybody's wondering, nicotine is a blood thinner. So when you quit, you get circulation issues. And I felt like my hand would go numb for like, it felt like a day. Like all day, I would just be like, you know, like something doesn't feel right, you know, or like it doesn't feel the same as it should, or feels weaker. Sometimes it was just like, it felt like it was numb. Like I slept on my arm wrong or something. And
about your like body. You're in your head about it.
Yeah.
Same.
Which may not be the same outcome for everybody, but the first day was the longest day of my life. Absolutely. It wasn't the best day. I've had a few of those with you. I've been thankful for that.
Aw.
It's been beautiful. But the longest day of my life, yeah, it was the first day that I quit nicotine. I couldn't sleep. And I was essentially taking like basically a NyQuil on top of melatonin just to get to sleep that first night, because it's like I can't live a day without it. I couldn't go a day
you're like
without
from work
nicotine.
going directly to sleep.
I worked long shifts. I worked 12-hour days,
yeah.
like 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah, I don't know how you were doing that on top of quitting. Because
it was a mental game. It was a lot of music. I mean, a lot of just like conversations with people that I was running into during the day. It was just like, I had to open myself up and be like, hey, I'm, like if someone asks like, hey, how you doing? That's a very like simple, broad answer. Like you just have to say like, oh, I'm fine. Or like, oh, I'm doing great. And it's like, you don't have to explain anything. But
nobody's
for me,
gonna ask.
Well, no one would ask. So I would just tell them anyways. Fuck it.
They're so used to, oh, I'm fine. It's good. And people are just
they'd be like, hey, how you doing? It's like, I'm doing okay today. It's day 3 without nicotine and I'm in my head a bit more, but I feel good. Like I feel fresh. And more than not, people would actually like go there with that kind of conversation with me. They'd be like, oh, wow, like that's great to hear. Like it took me an X amount of days to feel this or whatever, if they were getting off of something. Or if no one's ever had that problem, they're like, hey, congratulations. I've heard it's, really hard. So like, you're doing great. And it was just constant, like, simple support is what was really helping me go through with it, throughout the day. If I was isolated on my own, it would be more difficult. So I know where you stand with it. So
yeah, because I feel like I'm not really allowed to talk about it like in school because there's such a stigma around weed.
You could just say you're getting clean.
But no, I mean, everyone knows I don't smoke like cigarettes or anything, So it's like then you leave them to the imagination, then it becomes cocaine or meth, like or fucking opioids. So
I mean, opioids is a huge problem.
Opioids, and what's fucked about that, we could go into that later or a different day or right now, is how the government really caused an opioid pandemic.
Yeah, like the DARE program.
I was in the DARE program.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Look how we ended up.
It worked for me. I didn't do anything. I was straight edge, didn't smoke, didn't drink until I was 25.
I got mine all out by the time I was 25. So.
I know, which worked because by the time you were 25, we met and we were like together and I wasn't partying like that anymore. So.
Oh. Worked just fine.
Though I do want to try acid once, but.
We'll be right back.
Will we?
Yes. So.
Do we want to get back into the actual topic that we were here to talk about?
This is it. This is it.
Whatever you want it to be, guys. Who cares?
We're not on a script.
No, we're really not.
Just give it an idea.
We're just vibing.
We're always vibing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to look back on these years and years later.
Be like, oh my gosh, we're so cringy. We're so young and stupid. But yeah, it's just
you
went
so
poop
exciting.
and then everything flew out of my brain. Same, girl, same. Yeah, I will say, like, the thing with the isolation with quitting, I think you're right about that. The times that, like, I was really, like, talking about it. I don't know, though, because when I was focused so much on quitting, it was so much harder because I was thinking about it all the time and thinking about how I wanted to be doing it and how I couldn't. And this week, I think if it was a different substance, I couldn't do this. But with weed, it was easier because, I don't know, I guess there's not that, like, actual addictive component like there's with nicotine. Where, I mean, I was cranky all week, but as long as I kept my mind off of it, I didn't feel like I was quitting or like giving up on anything important. I was still living life, and some of the time it sucked, but I like had a
Yeah,
purpose.
well, yeah, because you have a time duration now that you haven't had in a long time, for being clean for like days, and then you're like, oh, like this is kind of like a new start, a new beginning kind of thing. So
yeah, and now it's to the point where it's like it's nice to kind of like chill and smoke and like just a little bit, because I mean my tolerance is obviously down now.
well, yeah, that's the problem too, is when people quit something, even going
You
to like
come
the
back
gym,
and it's
and then
like,
you're like, oh, I need to be doing the same stuff again, and that's when you just get fucked up. Goodness
My
gracious.
goodness gracious, girl. What is going on over there?
Squawking.
You having a baby?
It's probably laying.
She's the one that likes to lay out in the run, I think.
Yeah, she's probably about to.
She's probably like stockpiling them in a corner where I don't know they are, because she hates me and she doesn't want me to eat her eggs. She's like, these are my babies, don't touch them.
She's been laying in the corner to get away from you.
I've been wondering if they're hiding them, because they started on this side of the coop and then they moved once I like started taking them.
You have to keep taking it though.
I know, I can't leave them in there.
No, they would rot and they'd step on it eventually.
Exactly, they're not going to turn into babies.
And then they start eating their own eggs, and then
I
we're
know.
fucked.
But like I can't explain that to them. I just have to keep taking them. It's just how life is. They don't understand.
That's how life is.
In time, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes life is like that though, right? Like something gets taken from us that feels like we don't understand. And then like if you keep moving with that, I mean, then you'll end up stepping on rotten eggs. So
yeah.
You gotta just accept what's been taken and what's given sometimes.
Even to the real factor of going to a funeral this weekend, like sometimes loss is a very real thing, and we don't really give enough focus to it that's probably deserved.
All you can do is make something of it. Like
it's a celebration of life. That was what was so cool about going to that service. For one, shit ton of people, which is really cool that like so many people got together and
they started
got to do this thing
in his name.
Yeah, nonprofit. They're doing like a fundraising event every year in that town now because of it. Like, they had an influx of 500 people running through, which is huge for like that kind of thing. Celebration of Life. They had a band coming in, silent auction. Like they were having like this big service with everybody, catering. Hundreds of people.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Lots of Keystone. So, not the greatest, but the culture of what it is, yeah. And that was very much a big part of his life. Just drinking beer, fishing, hiking,
celebrating,
hunting,
having a party.
So that's what it was. It was just like a celebration of life. Like, yeah, let's do something in honor of it. It's not like make ourselves feel a certain way. Let's just like be ourselves, how he would want it to be.
She said something about like how they had to channel their grief and
into something they know how to do, which is working.
Even in the simplest parts of something like quitting, like I've had to channel that energy into something more productive, into like my schoolwork, into like my relationships, because I'm not doing that. I have to like use my time differently to keep my mind off it for the time being. But at some point it'll become something that actually, buffers me from getting back.
Yeah. Because the concept of it too, it being like, you're putting your thoughts and your time on to smoking and all the time that it takes to do that. And then the what happens afterwards is like not planned, versus like having something planned and fun to do, and then you're like, I spent my time doing that instead.
It's a coping mechanism too, to like distract myself from the little amount of like depth I had with the people in my life. And by quitting, now I have to like be more genuine in my relationships and like prioritize the relationships that are genuine, and it's become like actually really rewarding too. Good. I've like made a lot more friends this school year, trying to like wean off and stuff, and That's in turn like helped me quit, because now it's like, oh, I want to go do things. Well, I can't be smoking because I'm not going to be driving while I'm under the influence of something. And so I'm less isolated, which in turn is helping build a support system that'll keep me away from it. Mm-hmm. So it kind of all works together. And I'm thankful I didn't have to like go into anything like AA, which I think those are great. But I was a little worried that being around other people who are dealing with the same thing would actually like make me want to do it more, because we're just sitting around talking about it all the time.
Because it's on the mind?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sometimes people live a whole life like that, where it's on the mind or off the mind, and that's it. So it's like, you're going to get an influx of that if you're trying to quit a substance. And to some people, it's life or death.
Yeah, well,
especially with drinking, a lot of times it's a very physical life or death. You know,
sometimes if you quit drinking, it can kill you.
Yeah,
if you get too far into that. That is something I learned in school that scared the frick out of me with alcohol addiction. Is if you quit drinking, you can literally die after a certain amount of time.
It's good that you learned it in a school setting, but unfortunately, I had to live it in a real setting, and that's, I think, sometimes more real too. Because hearing it in a school setting, sobering, it's like, whatever, I read it in a fucking textbook. Versus like, oh,
see it firsthand.
Like my uncle's gonna be drinking himself too crazy kind of thing. It's like, have to quit, otherwise it's going to affect you. And also can, because it'll like kill you.
Kill you physically, yeah. Which, that's why, I mean, telling this to Preston, I've been very like open with our son about like what I'm going through, because I want him to see, like, he's seen the progression of me using it, and now I want to see him see how hard it is to get off, so that he can realize like it wasn't just good, you know?
There is also bad with everything.
Yeah, and I think there's like, it's important to be aware of the good and the bad. Like in school, they just tell you the bad, and then you use it, and you're like, well, I didn't feel anything bad about that experience, so they must have been lying to me. And honestly, it's not too far-fetched for adults to lie to children to control them.
For the sake of being like, I don't need to tell my kid about this because he's too young. What the fuck?
Or I want to like save him from it so that he doesn't get exposed to it. Well, if you
how old were you before you started like hanging out with people that were smoking weed? I smoked weed at 13.
I was gonna say 12 was when the people around me started smoking and stuff. And luckily, I was strong enough in like what I knew and what I found like important. I actually never drank. I never smoked. I would like go out and we'd have like a beer, and I'd be like, like hate it and not want to drink, and so I'd just pretend like I was drinking with them. And then by the time
because you wanted to fit in.
Yeah, by the time I was 16, I was like, I don't want to do that.
I think
I was old enough to be like, I don't want to do that.
It finally hit me where it's like, I didn't enjoy it, but it's like, oh, I have to drink to like be able to hang out with these people. And then like over time, it's like, wow, this is really fun. And then like end up getting really fucked up, and then you're like, oh, I drank way too much, but it was what a great party kind of thing.
I was just listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, and they were talking about how the belief that everyone else expects you to drink, nobody in that group actually wants to drink. They just think it's what they wanted, like what everyone else wants. And so then you all come into this collective fallacy that like, oh, I have to drink to fit in. But then no one else wants to drink either. And all it takes is one person being like, I actually don't want to do that, for other people to be like, oh, and like respect that. And that was my experience when I would like go to parties and I'd be like, oh, sorry, I don't drink. And people would be like, oh, do you mind if like, can I ask why? And I'd just be like, it's just not something like I want to do. Like, I want to be able to drive. I don't want to like throw up. I just don't like the taste of it. Like, I didn't really see I was fine like talking to people and having fun without it. So I didn't see like any pro to it. Yeah. And the one time I had that conversation with somebody they were a senior and I was a sophomore. So there was even like this like power thing dynamic where I was trying to fit in with these people. And granted, I probably didn't fit in as much as I probably could have if I was drinking back then. I didn't ever feel like I was left out of like parties or anything like that. Like, I would just DD.
Well, you probably had a good support system, like some friends that would respect you for that.
I had my parents, really. My parents were the ones who really respected me. But
yeah,
I would say I had a good friend group in that we could have fun without drinking. So we would do lots of stuff. Like, I would just drive everyone around and we would just like fork people's yards, like do things that wouldn't harm other people's property, but were like funny little gag things. I was pretty strong on that. Like I didn't ever want to like egg cars or houses because I knew
that's
how
kind of just like,
damaging it could be.
well, that's also like,
It's rude.
that's harm.
People did it to my house, and I'm sure it was my friends back then, and I was pissed.
Sure.
Because my
It's
dad
just
went out there
like
and cleaned
disrespect.
it up.
Oh, that sucks.
I
Well,
know,
someone's
and I
got to
was
clean
like-
it up, but
And I was like, that's fucked. Like, how can you do something to another person's house knowing like their parents are gonna have to clean that up and see that? Like that was the thing that always made me feel weird about that.
yeah, it's just not respectful.
It's not respectful at all. I'm thankful that like my parents had taught me that level of respect because I had a good relationship with them. And so I think that's something that like is important to foster with kids too, is like having a good relationship with your kids and having that like mutual level of respect so that they'll come and talk to you about those things. Because I think the only reason I didn't like lash out and like do the things that like that, like egging and stuff was because I was able to talk to my parents about it and have like actual conversations, not just them telling me don't do that. It was like actual conversations of this is how these things make people feel. And like these might be the outcomes that could happen, you know, where it's like with drinking, I mean, you might feel great in the moment, but you could have that anyways. I think having someone just be honest with you about that. I don't think enough adults are like treat kids like they're smart enough to understand these things when they are. Have you ever talked to like a teenager? They're smart. They're smarter than a lot of adults. In that like they know what's right.
Well, yeah, but no parent has it figured out because they don't understand the depth of how far a child's mind can go. And that's the big like topic too, is like our age talking to our parents about something like
there's a lot of
welding
fear.
or fire science, or you know, talking about how social media works, or talking about like hobbies that we're into, psychology, you know, biology, talking to other people like our parents and, you know, parental figures who've like raised us grow up. It's difficult to swallow the pill of being like, oh, like my son knows more about something than I do. And I have to accept that. And there's a big pull to where it's like, you can't accept the fact that your child has indeed learned something and like thoroughly like understood and like grown in something that you haven't done. And that's okay. I think that's the big problem with this too, is just like explaining to children. It's like not explaining. That's it. It's just conversations.
Yeah.
Like you got to really know the depth of like where your child's at. It's not explaining anymore. It is conversational. And that's where it comes. And sometimes they know more things than you do. And it's like, yeah, that kind of sucks. But it's like, whatever.
I think a lot of
It's your fault for not learning it. If you're like jealous about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a respect thing, then you got to grow up because your kid clearly has, but you haven't.
There's a lot of like generational fear too, where like parents are worried about the wrong things, you know, where it's like this control over your kid of you can't go and drink because you might get hurt. And instead, if you were to just say like, you know, you can go drink, like you have the freedom to, you know? And so I need to respect that you are going to have the ability to make your own decisions, and I'm not going to be there to control you. Because the research shows that like when you're around your friends as a teenager, you don't care about that. You're a lot more risky. And so,
Well, yeah, because it's peer pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you feel this like feeling of like, oh, I need to like show out. And
because you got to fit in because of peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And so is it though? It's like implicit though. Peer pressure implies
We're working on that fence.
Yeah.
Soon.
Peer pressure implies that you're like there's a actual
Where are you going?
Peer pressure implies that you're being pressured physically, verbally. And I'm saying like this is implicit. Like no one is telling you that you have to drink. You just feel like it's what you have to do. You're peer pressuring yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not really peer pressure then at that point. It's this like, it goes back to that like collective
You don't call it like an
fallacy.
internal peer pressure?
I mean, I guess. I just always think of peer pressure being something that's like Hey, you want to smoke? You want to smoke? Well, you're not my friend if you don't want to smoke.
Peer, like from your peers, the pressure, but it's also the internal peer pressure of like, how do you think your peers see you? So then you're like, oh, I have to drink because I want them to think that. That's the reverse of peer pressure. It's also like what you think they're thinking of you,
Sure.
what you think of yourself to fit in.
Yeah, we'll say it's like an overt and covert peer pressure.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
Yeah.
There's both.
Concaved and convex.
Like we make our own like peer pressure inside too, based on what we think. Well, yeah, and then you have like all these posters around that are just like, don't binge drink. Don't have sex. And it's like, well, if this is such a huge problem that they have to put posters around, like it must be something all my friends are doing. So you're getting all these messages from the outer world. And if instead you're just like, it's not just don't do this, don't do that. Instead, you're telling them, well, I did this as a kid and maybe I wish I didn't for these reasons. And having that like ability to be vulnerable with your kid and tell them like, I'm not perfect and I want you to learn.
Tell them you smoke cigarettes. Tell them that you play video games too long. Tell them that you watch,
porn.
You could. You could tell your kid that you got an addiction.
That's
like
a different
that is
level,
the thing. You got an addiction to caffeine. I couldn't tell you how many parents and moms I've seen lined up at a Dutch Bros every day.
No one
got to get their
that
2 p.m. coffee before they pick up their kid from school, kind of thing.
You know why no one sees that as a problem? It's because it makes you more productive.
Caffeine yeah, because it's like an upper. It's like speed.
Exactly.
Caffeine is like it is a drug.
Mm-hmm. That's why like celebrities, everyone does Coke because they have to be up and like perfect all the time. And then it becomes a problem. Because how damaging is it to society, I suppose? Maybe that's the way they look at it. And maybe they see things as like weed as damaging to society because
anything is a drug.
Lazy,
because
productive.
What creates a drug is the idea that you latched an addiction to it. And that just means like a state of like...
I don't know. I think it's the fact that it makes you look weak. I think that's why there's a stigma.
Because...
people associate drug addiction
makes you look weak?
That the other people who aren't addicted or are still in this cognitive dissonance about their addiction, because everyone has an addiction, whether it's to your cell phone, to caffeine.
Yeah, so everything could be an addiction.
Yeah, anything could be, to buying shit. Nobody wants to...
Online shopping.
So they displace that internal guilt so that they don't have to hold it on themselves anymore and say like, oh, well, at least I'm not that guy. At least I'm not like addicted to like meth, like the guy on the corner. There's that stigma of like, he's weak. So like what I'm going through isn't as bad. And I think that's why the stigma is so bad around drugs. And the sad thing is, I would say 100% of people with drug addiction, someone in their childhood failed them. Most people who are addicted to drugs get into it in like a very young age. And so when people are stigmatizing people who are like addicted to drugs, they're really like saying you're less than. But honestly, a lot of those people, yeah, they had the decision to do the drugs, but a lot of times they were watching their parents do it. They don't know any other way. Or they were abused in some way, neglected in some way, and the only way that they could find people to like take them in is to feel like, oh, I have to do this thing.
Yeah. Well,
I have
not
to do
have
this thing to be accepted.
But it's simpler than I have to. I've watched my parents do it, so therefore I do it.
Yeah, but that doesn't really explain the people who, like, we have family and friends who have gotten addicted to things, but our family members aren't.
Yeah.
Their parents weren't into drugs.
Yeah.
It's just like the trauma of whatever they've been through, feeling neglected or...
Yeah, so you can't say 100%. Like, there's more.
I said trauma. I didn't say it was 100% just parents are drug addicted.
Oh, well, yeah. So
I said either that or like they went through
a trauma-based experience
or neglect.
Also peer pressure. The peer pressure of being like, I work in a very like arduous job, hiking in the forest all summer. Everybody takes nicotine, so
I must have to too.
Well, it works because it sends your blood out, so you don't have to drink as much water, so you can hike longer. You dehydrate yourself to a deeper extent. Also gives you a fun like buzz high until it doesn't anymore.
Yeah. What's interesting,
And that's the problem
though,
for me is like I felt high when I was off of nicotine. Like when I stopped taking nicotine, the longer I would go without, like that longest day for me quitting was like I was feeling like I was on some wild drug and I could not sleep. And it was like I gotta get off of this because I feel high being sober, being me. And that's my purest form, is I was hiding from my purest form. And then to make it a full day was so hard. It was so incredible waking up the next morning though and being like, I did that, like can I do it again? I already did it once. Can I take that bearing weight? And the truth is yes, because there is nothing like the first, because the first is shock. It's trauma. It's what really sets in something of where it's like a one and done, or you continue a cycle and you do it again. And for me, my addiction was being sober, actually. I have an addiction to be sober. I don't like taking caffeine. I don't like smoking. I don't like drinking beer a lot of times, like I like my days sober where I don't have to take that. No high fructose corn syrup, like no sodas, no carbonated stuff. Like I like being sober. I like it. No chocolates. I really like to find a place that like is a weak spot for me and like, no, let's go a day without it. And that's been an addiction for me in a really clean way. A good way is to be an addiction to something good.
It's because you found a mindset where it's like, I can be strong. Like I can do this. And like, it's, that challenge of, can I do this? And I think a lot of times when people can't get out of addiction, it's because they have this feeling of, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I can't do that.
It is hard. It's very hard. I cried. Yeah. I cried almost like daily for weeks. So I absolutely sympathize. And yeah, you've had just as hard of a roller coaster,
You've had to deal with it because I'm just like cranky half the time.
Yeah. And I know that everybody does have just as difficult a time with it. It's really just, can you prove to yourself, are you willing to show yourself how strong you can be? How strong can you really be to beat something, to do something like that, like stick with it. Yeah, it's hard, but get back up again, like.
Yeah, if you can foster that resilient mindset of like switching it from I can't do this to that was hard. I could do it the first day.
Yeah,
so of course I can do it the second day. And every day just knowing it's going to get better. Maybe because your body is getting used to being sober, and also because you're training your body to deal with a high stress environment.
And the spiritual side too of being like, I proved myself worthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah. And being able to be proud of the person that you're creating. Like you could spend every day of your life just doing what you've done every day before and you'd be fine. But there's no growth in that.
Yeah.
There's no like.
You could be happy, but then your level of happy might,
are you
keep
happy
sinking.
though? Yeah, I was gonna say, are you happy though? Can you be happy if you're numbing out your pain? I think the point is you want to become, like, still be able to have pain and suffering, but fostering that resiliency to that by enjoying the happy times so much. And you have to have those painful times in order to feel those highs as well.
Well, you can't know happy without pain.
Right. And that's why quitting is so hard, because you spent so much time like riding that high. Your body has to come down. And that come down is always going to be hard because you've been avoiding it for so long.
However high you've been, that's however low you will have to be. So hold tight. If you really have had a really high journey, it will be a very low.
But it'll be worth it. And that's like...
Well, absolutely, because then you'll come back to a pendulum again.
That's the important part. Is how do you want to use your time on this earth? You can use it doing what everyone else is doing, or you can choose a different path that might be a little bit more difficult, much more satisfying, and it'll lead you to a more fulfilling life in general. The growth. Look at Mr. Gare. He said, yes, the growth. Do the growth.
It is really coming back to a balance point again. To find equilibrium, to find you in your purest form, and then you can go anyway from there. So,
yeah, I'd say that's a hard part too of it all, is being okay with those highs and lows being smaller. I think that's the hardest part for me, was realizing, like, man, I've been on this up and down that I was addicted to it. And the only reason I wasn't able to quit is because this felt boring. It felt stable. But the more that you're in it, it feels more like this, just at a less toxic level to your body and your soul. And like, if you can stick with it long enough, man, it is so satisfying.
It is. It is so worth it.
It is. It's hard. And I can
think,
see why
like,
people
going
don't do
back to your early childhood again, where you were at your purest form, you can be there again.
Yeah. Self-compassion has helped a lot too. I think, like, the times that I've like really wanted to smoke, and I felt like I didn't want to, but I just like really felt like I needed to. I just had to be like, it's okay, Hannah. Like, you're okay. Like, give yourself some grace. And like, I would just start crying, and then I wouldn't want to smoke anymore. And so I think a lot of it too is that guilt, I guess, that inner guilt that I deserve to not have a fulfilling life. Like, I don't deserve this life that I'm fostering.
Why would you ever want to think that?
I think it goes back to guilt. Yeah. That, maybe I don't deserve this because other people don't have it.
So
I think that's
peer
the big
pressure.
one. Yeah, well, it's the big
the one that you put because of
it's
others.
Guilt. Yeah, it's just guilt. I don't know if I would call it peer. Maybe it is peer pressure. A need to belong, that I can't do better for myself because other people will feel hurt and threatened by it. But I feel like I've kind of got rid of those relationships in my life now, and it's time for me to realize that I do deserve the success that I'm working towards.
Yeah.
That hasn't been given to me. I've worked really hard to get here.
You have.
And it's hard when other people don't see that work. And so they just see what you have and think that you don't deserve it, or that it was given to you. And they don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that came into it, because that all happens behind closed doors.
It's okay. Because you know you put that work in.
Right. But I think that's why, even when I did put the work in, I like kind of would allow myself to fail, because I felt guilty for the things that I had that other people didn't have those opportunities, rather than seeing them as things that I worked towards and did deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. Embrace that for a sec.
Yeah.
Before you jump to something else, like,
well,
you deserve that.
I think we should tell the viewer too, you deserve that. You deserve to live in what you've been working towards and the hard work you put in, and don't let anyone ever make you feel guilty for the successes that you've had and for the people that have helped you. Use that to go help other people. Use that energy to help others, and not to your detriment, because that's where I would go wrong, is I would just like give and give and give until my cup was completely empty.
Then you have to
then
fill
there
it
was
again.
no one to give back, and those people that I had given to were never satiated.
If you empty your cup on something or someone and it's not filling you back up, then learn from that, Don't fill your cup back up again and put it in that same spot, because the outcome will probably be the same.
Yeah.
Until it isn't. And then it's a different relationship from there with whatever it is. So, but if you're giving and you're not getting, then it's time to focus and put in something into where you can give and get back.
Yeah.
Because it is all about the giving and the receiving part. Because receiving a gift is difficult too.
Sometimes harder than giving if you're used to giving and giving and giving.
That's right.
Sometimes it makes you feel like you can't receive.
Haven't we learned that? Yeah. We'll talk about receiving another time.
How to receive.
How to receive. Goodness. Quite an episode.
It very much was.
This was
I'm
great.
exhausted.
Yeah, you really poured into it. In a great way. I hope you got back what you put in.
I guess we'll see, Mr. Leroy. Do you want to say good night or good morning?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good night.
Good night. Good afternoon from the kittens.
To wherever you are in this world, from our world to yours.
And from little Leroy and Mr. Gare.
Mr. Gare.
And Lady Hawk, Kenny, Nacho.
Fettuccine.
And Fettuccine.
I'm Caleb.
The little fuck. I'm whoever you want me to be.
We could be anything, anyone, whoever we are to you, you know? Are we your friends? Are we annoying? Are we your backyard neighbors?
If we're annoying, you probably haven't made it this long.
Are we your cool aunt and uncle? Yeah. Probably not.
Cool aunt and uncle, I'll be that.
Absolutely.
I'll be your mommy.
I'll be your daddy.
You can be my daddy.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Leroy. I'm just holding
Petting cats.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for coming to our...
See you next time on Think Outside the Coop.
I'll see you next time. That's right. See you next time.
Goodbye.